Hello, I'm James Lim, founder of Property Plus System, and today I'll be talking about some of the 5 trends that you should be looking out for in Singapore property market for 2023. So come, let's jump straight to it. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel on YouTube and click on the alert notification. Now, the first trend I'll be talking about is I'll be talking about the interest rate. So if you watch my earlier videos, I did mention that through my research, interest rate doesn't really affect property prices. However, interest rate will affect the total number of transaction volume of Singapore. Okay, so let's look at the interest rate environment. Now, what happened last year in 2023 was at the end of the year is that the Fed actually says that they could be cutting interest rate in 2024 onwards. So as of January at the time, market is still very quiet. The jobs report is going to come out real soon. Even the profit report for company is also coming out soon. Therefore, if we look at it at time, and if we look at inflation is stopping in the US at time, inflation is actually doing quite well in Singapore right now. Therefore, I actually strongly predict that interest rate will be dropping. Now, if you even look at, don't even just take my word for it, just look at the banks also. So when UOB talk about interest rate at time last year, at the end of last year at time, they are also looking at interest rate actually were to be flattened and no longer going up, and then after that it will start to go down. Of course, these are banks' prediction because they will also still listen to the US side. But overall, we are very confident that interest rate is going to drop because inflation has now been curbed very well. Okay. Now, the second trend that we'll be looking at is that there will be more mega developments in Singapore. Okay. So moving forward, when we were to study what launches are going to come out that time, there'll be 4 launches that I want you to take note of. So when you look at these 4 launches at time, or when you look at my earlier videos that time, that I talk about some of the properties that I actually recommend to you, these are all the 4 properties part of the 4 properties I actually recommend to you. Okay, so you can see that we have Toa Payoh side, Tembusu side, we have the Lorong Chuan side, and we have even a Tampines side. For all these launches, you can see that the land price for Tampines is actually the lowest. So that is one of the property that I actually recommend to you. Okay, so you can also check out some of my other articles if you think that high volume developments, mega developments will not make money, or if there's a higher risk to it. Now, feel free to comment if you have such a thinking, and I'll link to you my research that I've actually done below. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, so of these 4 properties, right, I actually would want you to focus more on the Lorong Chuan, Toa Payoh, and also the Tampines side. So these are the 3 sites I feel that are much sexier. I feel that they have a better amount of profit. Now, the third trend I'm looking at is that there will be more completed homes that will be entering into the resale market. Now, these completed homes, what I'm meaning is that they are going to TOP and launch. Okay, now don't forget what happened during 2020 was during the COVID period at that time, and therefore developers all has to stop construction. Alright, and then now they are chasing up to construction, and then you will see more launches coming out this year. So if we were to look into this year picture that time, right, okay, in 2023, we saw the biggest amount of units, which is like 1,900 units. And then this year in 2024, there'll be close to another 10,000 units, okay, half of it. Now, that would be a huge influx of new properties entering into the market. Now, does it really mean that it will affect the transaction price, which means buyers is going to pay lower for it? Actually, my answer is no, because there is still a very high demand to it. Okay, in my earlier videos, I talked about the white paper. We are hitting a 6.9 million population. Okay, if you want me to link to you the video, okay, just search for it or comment below, and I'll just link it up. Okay, but what will actually happen is that it will actually affect the renter, and I'll be talking about the renter later. Okay, so now what is going to happen is that I will notice that some of the home buyers, in fact, instead of turning into the new launch market, they will actually move towards the resale market. And when I say the resale market at the time, they'll be looking for newly constructed just TOP properties. That's where your eyes will be focused in. Okay, and looking at it, I don't expect the price to shoot up as much. Even Desmond Go, our National Development Minister, also says that he don't expect prices to increase very heavily, we do expect it to increase at a moderate, sustainable pricing, which is roughly around 4 to 6% this year. Okay. Now, earlier I was actually mentioning about this video, this picture that I just want to share to you. Since we are hitting our 6.9 million population, you see, we still need, hit a 6.9 million population, we still need another close to 700,000 new homes. So, if we need so much 700,000 new homes in 2030, and if you see my earlier slide, okay, 10,000 homes is only entering into the market. That is way lower than the 700,000. That's why, as I said, there's still a very strong demand for this type of properties in Singapore. Okay, so I am still very confident that property price will still grow all the way to 2030. And beyond that, I am not sure. It will still depends on the immigration policy of the Singapore government. Alright, so if we look at the resale transaction, okay, we will see that actually the price has actually been going up since year 2020, okay, and you will see that since 2022 that time, price has started to moderate and start to slow down itself, okay. So that is why from here, I did a prediction, and that's why I say that, okay, maybe it's only going to go for roughly around 4%, okay. Now, the next one is that I did mention earlier that due to a lot of new properties entering the market, okay, therefore rental will be better for tenants. Tenants will have more selection of units, So, two things I always look at. Number one, the interest rate. Because the interest rate go up, landlord want to also increase the rent, okay. But right now, with this huge influx of properties coming into the market, alright, tenant is going to have a huge selection. Number two, if interest rate were to drop, okay, owner will be more willing to accept a lower amount of rental. So I just want to prep you home buyers or investors, okay, do take note about this fact. The power shift will shift from the homeowner more towards a tenant. Tenant will have more selection of properties. And that is the reason why I've been telling my client consistently is that, you try not to buy a property that you intend to rent out over the next 10 years, It's better to flip, 3 years later, it's better to sell. And that will give you actually a higher profit margin, okay? So do take note about this thing. Alright, so this is something very good news for tenants, okay? They will not have very hard time to find a place. So we also look at the rental start to go down and start to ease in 2024. This has happened actually in 2023, okay? I did tell my homeowners, okay, I am in the front line, when I talk to tenants that time, I do know that there are many properties that's actually hard to rent out. So homeowners, please take note of this, especially if your unit is like not near the MRT station or not near amenities, okay? Now, lastly, for my trend number 5, okay, I will be looking into HDB market. So now, HDB market has started to slow down already, okay? So when we look at slowing down that time, so basically in the news article that time, in January 08 that time, our National Development Minister again, okay, Mr. Desmond, okay, has also says that, Desmond has says that, okay, 100,000 homes are actually entering the market by 2025, okay? So, and then there are 19,000 or close to 20,000 that is going to enter into the sales, into the, into the market, but is going for balloting for 2024. So what the government is doing right now is that they are trying very hard to control the HDB pricing, okay? So do take note of this before the prices actually, or rather more MOP periods, MOP properties are out into the market. So let's say that if you decide to sell your HDB, I think this year 2024 is one of the best time to sell your HDB because that is where the price is going to peak. Maybe when you wait for next year at time, more units entering the market, the price will start to slow down. So this is actually a trend that we did since 08 that time. So what happened is that if you look at since 2011 to 2014 at time, there's a huge influx of close to 100,000 new HDBs entering the market, and because of that, there's an over amount of influx. Okay, that's why you see the price start to drop, and the price dropped by 12%. Okay, so now if you look right now over here, there's another 100,000 entering into the market, which is very similar. So if you ask me, I believe really it's the same thing. If you don't sell now, I expect the next 5 years HDB price will start to slow down. Okay, that is my belief, that's my forecast. It will start to slow become negative, and then after that it will start to pick up again. Okay, so market, you can see it always go into a cycle. So those people who buy above $1 million HDB, I would say good luck to you. I just feel that HDB that is above $1 million is a bit ridiculous. Anyway, side story, most of them are bought by PR, so you know they want big space and whatever. So that's not our concern. Okay, so what is my forecast for this year 2024? You know, I gave actually market forecast before, but some people find it's very technical, so I'll just make it simple for this slide. Okay, very simple. If we will look at private new properties, and when we look at the amount of sales transaction, I don't expect sales transaction to be more or less like last year. Okay, it should be about the same. But then again, this year we have more sexier sites, like example Toa Payoh, Tampines, Clementi sites, Lorong Chuan sites. So which means, right, buyers, okay, since the price is about the same as last year, they should have if they do have the budget, they will definitely go for this type of sexier sites. That's why I expect transaction volume to be more or less the same. Okay, but in terms of pricing wise, I do expect prices to go up by roughly 4 to 6% for the private market. Okay, but how about for the resale? For the resale wise, I still feel that basically the volume transaction to be about the same. Okay, more people will still look at houses. One of the reasons why it's the same, because there's more TOP units, as I mentioned earlier, and the price increase will be about the same, 4 to 6%, which is a very general growth. Okay, but in terms of HDB, I don't look at 1 or 2 rules. Let's look at the 3 rules, because that's more for the majority. Okay, volume transaction will still be about the same. Okay, because why? There's still a lot of MOP units coming up. Some of the why I don't say that there's going to be more buyers is because since the Desmond Lee again is going to have 20,000 new MOP units. Therefore, I believe a huge chunk of them will actually enter into the BTO balloting process. Okay, so in terms of the price wise, right, I feel that it will be a slightly muted growth of roughly between 3 to 5%, and I actually look at the lower side of roughly 3%. Okay, so why? Because prices of properties has actually been moderated. So now these are actually my 5 trends that I want you to look out for, that I am expecting in 2024. So that's all I do have for you. If you like this video, give a thumbs up button. Do remember to subscribe, and if you have any question at all, just feel free to type in the comment section. That's all I have for you. Thank you so long, and bye.